Shout out to Phenom Black, Miss Music Lover, Twan Burgundy, Silent Ace Media, man. Mindset of a young nigga with idle time. They say a devil's workshop is an idle mind. This hip-hop infiltrated by a wicked built industry. I'm representing for the underground. Independence, Fifth Amendment, freedom of speech, the revolution is pending. But it's cool cause you see we on a mission. Television off, this a viral petition. Man, and I hope you pay attention. The WM48, we keep it real.
What's good, everybody? This is the Where's My 40 Acres podcast, and we're back to review episode 6 for season 2 of Luke Cage on Netflix, and this one is called The Basement, and it is directed by Millicent Shelton, and it is written by Ada Mashaka Kroll. So here we go. Bushmaster's crew is still chasing Cage and Piranha Jones through the streets. I just love that Luke Cage threw him up on a roof and that broke this nigga's ankle.
Yeah, or sprained it.
Sure, sprained it.
Because they were sitting there, they were running. But first, they were running and they basically got away. And then Luke wants to lean his big ass out over the top of the building.
He's on the roof?
Just standing there. The nigga looks like, oh, he on the roof. Like, nigga, y'all could have just been on there. Y'all could have got away easily. But Luke has to look over, and then that's when he throws that nigga up there.
But eventually, they end up hiding out at Uptown Theater, which is abandoned and, I don't know, supposed to be demolished soon or some shit. Either way, you would think no one should be able to find them at this point. But I also got to ask, if you're getting hunted all through Harlem, why are you staying in Harlem?
Why don't you just leave?
Just like leave.
That's just the whole theme of Harlem, period. Like, everything is Harlem, this, Harlem, that. And it's like, y'all are on a train station. All you have to do is just go to Queens or Manhattan. They
do that later. They do it later.
But the thing is that Luke can't do that because of that fucking that hero app. Anywhere he goes, people tagging this nigga like a Pokemon. Come catch you a Luke Cage over here in Queens. So he can't do it, but Piranha Jones absolutely can. And he keeps telling Luke to get him back to his private jet so that he can take off. And at one point I was like, well, nigga, you are bulletproof. Why don't you just take him to the private jet so that he can take off and leave? I wouldn't even trust the
private jet at this point.
I guess, man. Bushmaster's people are rolling around the streets looking for Luke Cage. And they roll up on this kid. They ask him if he's seen Luke Cage. And the kid's like, nah, but you can find him using the Harlem's Hero app. And then when they pull off, the kid calls his mom, tell Aunt Val to stay in the house. The streets is hot. Like, okay.
Yeah. The little kid knew shit was about to go down, man. He tell by the niggas asking questions.
All I heard was, the streets is hot. Booga-dong, do-dong, ba-dooga-dong, do-dong, ba-dooga-dong. Like, okay, man. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. You don't understand how many times I watched Luke Cage this week. Like,
dude, it got the points, man. I just skipped through it. Like, and I like the theme song, but
I do too. But my God,
when you watch it over and over and over, it's like, okay, this is.
I tell y'all, man. See, because we got screeners, we didn't have access to skip the intro button that Netflix does now.
Oh, whoever came up with that in Netflix, you are a genius.
Genius, you are fucking genius. But anyway, back to what we were doing. Wow, 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 wow.
Wow.
Okay, let me stop. Wow, 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 wow.
All right. Showing streets, Lenox Avenue.
Why?
Boulevard.
Why do they show it on the fist? Oh, it's so funny. It is so many violins and flutes. It's so funny. Let's see. So they're hiding out in the theater. Mariah is in a interrogation room after the incident at the memorial, the community center, the Shirley Chisholm event the night before with them heads on the stakes. Mariah is being interrogated by Rittenhauer, and we learned from their interrogation that Rittenhauer actually used to be in a relationship with Mariah, and we find out later,
significant relationship with Mariah.
Very significant, because we find out later that he has a piece of information that we have not been revealed yet, but he fucking knows. We'll get to that next episode. Can't tell y'all that now. Basically, in the interrogation room, Misty Knight is watching, and she also notices what we as the viewer are noticing is that he calls her May May, which means he used to get some May May,
and nobody else calls her May May. Like,
no.
You have never heard anything close to May May.
No,
that was his name for her.
And we
been putting it on them folks, because good God,
she did. Been doing something to him. He's 20 years later. Remember how? Never mind. So yeah, he may maybe getting some May May later from May May, but right now he's supposed to be interrogating May May. He's not gonna lock her up. He sends her back out into the streets because they can't really hold her, because they can't hold her for shit, because she's actually the victim of this situation. Let's see. All hell broke loose the night before, because we forgot to mention last episode that Shades was at the Piranha Jones event, and he actually helped Luke get Piranha Jones away. Somebody tried to shoot Luke and he busted old boy up. Shades was trying to call Comanche but couldn't get him. So Dad decided, now that we know that Comanche is a snitch, it is what it is. And really, Rittenhauer is just trying to get information on Mariah. So Comanche's whole thing is, I just get the information that he wants on Black Mariah, and, everybody else will be cool. We just need to get her the fuck out of here. I don't like her anyway. In his mentality, he like, I don't like the bitch anyway. So I'm just trying to get out of here. Luke slowly but surely figures out why the Jamaicans want Piranha, and it's Pariah. Piranha, it's because he has power of attorney over Mariah's funds. At the same time, Mariah, during the interrogation with Rittenhauer, realizes that she's got a fucking snitch in her crew, because Captain Rittenhauer asked her specifically about Tone's death. And if y'all remember from last season, Tone was the dude that shot up Pop's shop. And when Cottonmouth found out, he threw Tone off the roof.
Like, toss that nigga clean off.
So because of this, now Mariah knows that there's a snitch in the crew. She goes back, and when she meets up with them, she tells them, we got a snitch. She kind of turns into Black Mariah at this point. That's where she stabs one of them in the hand. And at this point, she's kind of like, go find this Bushmaster bitch and go find Piranha Jones. Because Piranha Jones isn't just another nigga to her. That's actually like somebody she knew growing up. Like, she knew him from being a kid until where he is now. So he's like family.
Also,
people she trusts.
None of her money is like actual there right now.
Hell no.
All her money is
digital.
In essence.
It's digital.
It's all out there. It's you know what I mean? Like, when you get that windfall, you just go in, and that's in your bank account. It's like, yeah, you got the money, but it ain't been. We got a lot of shit we still got to do. So she know without this nigga, that money is gone. I think she did have the emotional ties to him though, but it's still that this nigga, I need my money.
Yep. So Shades of Comanche, because Shades is not a dumb gangster. He still got some intelligent gangster moves left in his repertoire. He goes down into the basement of Harlem's Paradise, and in what looks like, I guess, one of the fake heating ducts, ventilation systems, he has stored the good shit, which is rule number 1. And when you sell your whole fucking gun business to your enemy, never give them the good shit. So him and Comanche load up with a couple of weapons that they feel even Luke Cage wouldn't be able to handle. And they kind of go on the hunt for Bushmaster.
One of them is the same shotgun that Cockroach used.
Yeah.
To shoot.
They end up going to the barbershop and kind of just sitting and waiting for Luke Cage to show back up, hoping that, I guess, he still got.
Were they waiting for Luke, or were they waiting for one of the Jamaican people?
See, that's what I couldn't tell, because I couldn't tell why they went to Pop's shop. Period.
I thought they went to Pop Shop knowing that Jamaicans would go there to check to find.
Maybe Luke. They did. You could be right. I thought they went there looking for Piranha Jones as well, which inevitably could probably lead to them getting to kill some Jamaicans.
Then they could have. They could have fully went there looking for Luke too.
I fully didn't understand the whole motive behind them going and sitting in that barbershop, other than to have a back-to-back heartfelt conversation about how they was on the down low when they was on lockdown.
Another scene with just two people, shot well, acted well, written well.
I like the dialogue. It's one of my favorite scenes, because Comanche.
I went back and watched it a bunch of times. Like, I will play it through and then go back and play it again.
Shades is confused, and he's like, what went down in there, people on the outside will never understand, like, gay ain't a thing. And Comanche is like, nah, homie, I know who I am. I ain't scared to be gay.
He was like that, that love is real.
I mean,
they had that he felt it was,
yeah,
that was a connection that they had. We find out later a little bit more of their past, with that. But I think it was just a real heartfelt type of thing. And it put the whole Comanche and Mariah thing in a different light.
Oh, hell yeah. Now you know why they don't like each other. And it also puts Shade in a different light, right? It adds, it's his character is slowly unfolding in front of us. Him hiding behind them damn shades is not working now with Comanche around. He still got love beyond just that's my brother love for this nigga, which is why Comanche can talk shit to him and he don't do shit to him. It's like your girl talking shit to you in public. You just got to take it, my nigga, because you love her. So Shades is torn, man. And that's another reason I think, because essentially Mariah is what, his beard?
Yeah. In the sense of that.
To me, that's why he is so into her. Like, I feel like he's forcing it.
Beard's normal. Like, I guess the thing with the beard is like I guess the textbook thing of a beard is somebody who, your role. It's usually both parties know exactly what's going on. One party is, usually the guy's gay and the girl isn't, and she knows that he's gay, and she knows that, for cameras or for perception, they have to play the role of being together.
Right.
But, it's just for show. So I never get show for that. I wouldn't say necessarily like Mariah's the beard, because I just see it more as he's just torn.
He's on the down low. He just straight up on the down low. But I feel like that's what forces their erotic interactions, which are so heavy and don't look right in certain scenes. Like, they're just overdoing it dramatically. I think that actually adds more clarity to this situation now for me. Right. I'm like, that's why they look so awkward making out like that every 5 minutes they alone. Because he's not really into this shit.
Or he could just be bi.
All I'm hearing is down low in the background right now. I hear you could be bi.
I mean, personally, I lean towards bi, because I guess the whole thing is they don't have to be so overly dramatic, especially when they are alone, so I just really think he's bi.
Yeah, and the connection that he has to Comanche is not like just like I got an attraction to men. It's more like we have this deep connection through our entire shared history with each other. There's a genuine love there between them,
and he likes penis.
I'm not saying that's not there either, but that's not the sole motivating reason.
It's one of the sole motivating reasons. You gonna be like, because we was tight, we was best friends forever. That's why we share penises now.
No,
they like each other. I mean, bi, gay, they into each other. They love each other. They beat Lucas up together.
I just feel like he also has a strong feeling for Mariah, despite the fact that he likes penis too.
I think that he saw the heart and the leader in her from last season with the cottonmouth and the standing up for herself. And that made him like really fall for her. He saw the potential of how great she could be, right? He saw her strength.
So Comanche got no love. He just saw dick in Comanche, but he saw all the deep down love.
I never did not acknowledge that they got a brotherly growing up together, heartfelt love for one another. I mean, we get the story of how they even ended up becoming best friends and shit. I'm not saying that. I'm also not gonna be like they just fell in love together because they was tight friends as kids. I'm not giving them that lead either. I'm like, hey.
I didn't say that. I just said that there was a lot there.
Right. It is a lot there. It's a complicated situation. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but they have their little conversation, and Comanche is proud of who he is, and he gonna be a gangster and a lover forever. And Shades is shady. The name just fits. I like little comments they said. I love little comments they say together. Love, like, it's the same. We could be so much more than that. Comanche, we are more than that. And I was like, oh, well, reveal. So Misty goes and she is chilling, having like diner coffee, which one day me and Ashley got to go somewhere and just have diner coffee, because they do that in shows all the time. They don't be eating no food, they just be having diner coffee. And
well, Ashley, I'm sure would like that since it's coffee related.
I'm sure she would. But she's having diner coffee with an old colleague, and she basically lets him know that I almost went full evil last night and planted evidence on a suspect.
Well, no, they did eat food, so never mind.
I saw coffee. I saw Cops and Coffee, which should be a television show.
Wait, that was with the white guy.
Yeah, the chubby white dude.
Oh, child, yeah, he was about to stuff his face with macaroni and cheese, honey. He had a full plate.
I'm glad you saw all that. Did she have?
She had a plate too. She had like, I don't know if it was like steak or something and vegetables.
Okay, so
yeah,
they had food then. I thought they just had coffee. I'm screwed. I'm mixing up my cop shows.
You still can have your diner coffee, but they weren't doing that there. Because that's the one where she said initially used to be the weed spot back in the day.
Oh, yeah. See, I missed that part too. See?
Oh, yeah. And that's the dude that was like, he give his right arm.
See, that was fucked up.
She was like, oh.
He stuffed his face in macaroni and cheese. Got
jokes too. But she basically confesses to him that she almost committed dirty copism, and he says to her, listen, look, it's hard being a cop. I'm glad I retired. You need to go, literally says, you need to go inside the basement of your psyche, dust things off, and realize what's real. And she's like, that's deep. Okay. And then later on, she ends up confessing to Rittenhauer what she was going to do. So she got real all up in her feelings. She feels torn as fuck. She also feels like being a cop just ain't doing anything productive. She's just running in circles. She's on a treadmill.
She said that, pretty much, what, if it goes his way, it's pretty stagnant, like nothing's going to happen. Plus the fact of, she just literally, tried to implement somebody. So, yeah, she said she was at peace with her decision. So,
yep. So, cutting back to it, this was early in the episode, but Bushmaster is very proud of himself after watching the stint he pulled with those heads on the stakes the other night on television. And unto his liking, his Aunt Ingrid is like savages, and his uncle Anansi is like boldly proclaiming only a fucking heathen would do some shit like this. And it's really pissing him off, because it's really pissing Bushmaster off, because he's doing this shit to make it look like, to make it look like he's the king and he's not to be fucked with, and people should want to like stand behind him, because look, he's taking back he's gonna take the throne from the king of Harlem, Black Mariah. And the actual reaction is, oh my God, we're really tired of all this fucking unnecessary goddamn violence and people doing crazy shit like chopping off heads and putting them on stakes in Harlem. Like, this is just not cool. We just want to drink beer and eat chopped cheese sandwiches. This is not what we came here for. Every time we think everything is cool down, somebody else does some crazy shit and we feel scared to be here. So Anansi basically is begging him to find peace. And he refuses, in the name and the honor of his mother and his father, to not go after Mariah and kill her. He is all about not peace. Shades, while they're still talking, because they've been in the barbershop for a really long time at this point, he tells Comanche that Mariah killed Cottonmouth. I kind of felt at this point that Shades had figured out who the snitch was.
Right. He was just still covering up.
I mean, honestly, it should be last in, first snitch out. Like, if you didn't have a snitching problem before, can we look at what has changed? Comanche has changed. He wasn't here before. He here now. And we don't really know exactly how he got out of prison. He claimed he got out on a technicality or some shit. But we know he got out on a deal to snitch. So it's your boy.
Mm-hmm.
They also had this conversation where Comanche is still like into this whole thug mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And Shades is like, we can be more than just thugs. And he also tells, I like this like one of my favorite lines from the season. He tells Comanche, when you have to kill to get it, you get killed if you keep it. And I was like, yo, that shit's deep, dog.
It's true.
That shit's kind of fucking deep, dog. It's really fucking deep, my nigga. And then this is how I know he's setting Comanche up. When they get up to leave and Comanche walks off, he makes a statement about time. And Shades responds back, no time is ever really wasted. Time reveals all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, he's setting this nigga up. So Shades had some good lines, yo. These last couple episodes, like, yo, Shades got these lines. These shady lines.
Shady lines. Oh, Lord.
Through this whole episode, Piranha Jones and Luke have been talking about their daddy issues and, you know, what makes them them and how they're not so different, which seems to be everybody's conversation with Luke Cage this season. We're not so different. Even though all these niggas saying that are drastically different.
All of them just talking about their daddy. I was waiting for somebody to stop Luke on the street. Hey, Luke, man, I just want to tell you about my father real quick. So he was a steel man. Like why does Luke need to know about everybody's daddy?
Yeah, let's talk about my father.
Father. We are in Harlem. It is father. It's the appropriate time to use a father. Father?
That's what you need to do. Go find men DCC's child.
Father?
Yeah. Let him talk about his father problems.
That boy like 17 years old now. We were making that joke for like 5 years. Father? Let's see. So he gets Piranha Jones' story about his banker father, which I enjoyed watching again. I like listening to Piranha Jones tell the story about how his mother was fucking some dude and got pregnant. And when she did, dude was like, I'm out, peace. And the only thing he left behind was a book that was titled, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? And Piranha grew up and he became a very successful business person. But before that even had a chance to happen, he and his mother struggled, and he went to his father for help after he graduated or whatnot, and his father basically had him escorted out by security. Well, later on, his father's business ended up collapsing and falling flat. Piranha Jones was doing extremely well at that time, and that's when his father came knocking at the door to get some help, and he told him, get the fuck out of here. And that was the last time he talked to his father because he hadn't seen the nigga since. So he said that in a more regretful fashion. Like, it felt good at the moment, but now when I look back on it, I don't have no relationship at all. And probably won't never have one because I don't know what that nigga is. And Luke Cage is like, I don't want to talk about my daddy. I don't want to talk about my daddy.
He said Reverend Nanya.
I don't want to talk about my daddy.
Swahili?
Yo, Piranha Jones is a clown, dog. I don't want to talk about my daddy. And Piranha Jones is the new Claire. You need to go see your daddy and tell him I got these watches. And at this point, Luke is like, I know what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to take you to the police or whatever, and you got power of attorney and all this other shit. He goes to make a fucking phone call because he's smart. He couldn't make the phone call right there. And when he comes back, Piranha Jones is gone. And that's because somehow the niggas in Harlem done found them in an abandoned theater. I still don't understand how they realized these niggas was in this theater.
They saw the broken wood.
Bruh, you know how many pieces the buildings got broken wood in Harlem? That is not a good excuse.
At all.
But they break in and they randomly find Piranha in the theater somewhere in the dark in the abandoned building with no lights or electricity. And they start dragging him out. And that's when we get the Luke Cage save the day chase and fight scene. A lot of wall punching. A lot of people getting slammed on their heads. One dude got a couch thrown at him. And I swear to God, it is a callback to Black Dynamite's haha, threw that shit before I walked in the room. Cause that couch came from the left and then Luke Cage popped out the right side of the wall. And I was like, well, who threw the couch then?
Nigga, I laughed so hard when that couch came across. I even wrote that, said nigga get hit with a couch.
Bruh, the couch came from in the crowd. And then Luke Cage came around the right side of the corner. And I was like, but wait, who threw the couch? Did he throw it 5 minutes ago? Like, how fast is he? Must be faster than Usain Bolt. Because that couch didn't throw itself. But he definitely hit a nigga with a whole couch. And I like how they make Luke Cage like the boogeyman. Like, they make him pop through walls and pull people through walls. Like, he absolutely could have ran to the front of that line and just saved Piranha Jones. But instead, he wanted to attack all them niggas from the back. Like,
he turned to Batman for this scene. That's what he did. Like, he just literally turned to Batman.
This is so unnecessary. While he's doing all of this shit, they getting away.
And now he keeps getting the end part of them running away. Whoever's at the end of the running.
He ends up getting Piranha Jones back, and Piranha Jones, after screaming for 5 straight minutes, is like, that shit was dope. So he's like, well, we can't see the theater no more. I'm gonna take you to church. And he takes him to his father's church, and he asks his father to watch him. And his father says, I'll do it. And like, I guarantee you, as soon as Luke left, his father was like, you can leave now. Piranha Jones stayed a hot 5 minutes and then booked it.
He said goodbye. He wanted to He wanted to get on his private jet.
Want to get on his private jet, man? Shit's ridiculous. Luke and his father have a bit of a talk in this scene, but not much. And Luke is like, calls up Bushmaster and is like, we need to have one battle, a fair fight, which is about to not be a fair fight. The first fight was a sucker punch. This fight is also not fair. But he goes there to fight him on the bridge.
High noon.
Like the old westerns. Me like the old west of him. He goes to do that. Misty, look, I hate watching characters go through stuff like this where they just like pitiful and depressed and they start doing depressed shit. She goes to Rittenhauer and she basically tells him, I tried to play evidence the other night, and Rittenhauer hits her with that reverse logic, and he's like, but I always believed in you, even though you tried to commit some illegal shit last night. You're still a good cop. Don't worry about it. I'll overlook it. And this is why Nandi is allowed to sing Jennifer Holliday in the office at night. Because Rittenhauer is a terrible captain. But Misty's like, nah, dog. Now you just confusing me. You're not even a good captain. I don't believe in you or the system. Here's my gun. Here's my badge.
She was fed up.
Rittenhauer's like, don't do this. We need you. You the only nigga that be working. We cut back and Bushmaster and Luke meet up for what is definitely a very fulfilling duel.
It was good.
They are evenly matched. There's a lot of capoeira and there's a lot of the fucking fake leg trickery kicks are pretty dope in this fight.
Yeah, I had an old client who took capoeira and he would do all that shit. And everything was like legit. Everything was a move. Everything had a name. And when you saw him do it, it was like, it's like, did you just fall and your momentum took you? It's like, nah, that's all. It was this move and these 3 moves.
That's wild.
I was like, oh, that shit is real dope.
It is dope. Not dope enough for you not to get your ass whooped though, because Luke Cage ends up winning this fight. And
he really did.
He whoops Bushmaster's ass, and Bushmaster starts bleeding. And this is important later that he's bleeding during this fight. We'll talk about that when we get there. But Bushmaster pulls out some voodoo, because you always keep some voodoo in your pocket. And he pulls it out and he throws it in Luke Cage's face. And Luke Cage, because Mike Calter is doing this, now has to act like he can't move. And it is a very hilarious scene to watch. Luke Cage struggle non-move and start to internally think, why can't I move my arms? Even though he's doing it the way a ventriloquist throws his voice at a dummy. And Bushmaster gives him a long "I'm a fuck nigga" speech, who does trickery shit. I'm like Loki. And then he what was that movie? What is
You
it?
talking about Thor?
Not Thor. Way back, still Greek or Roman mythology, but way back.
Oh, you okay?
Sparta. He Sparta kicks him. This is Sparta.
Oh.
This is Sparta kicks him into the New York lake, whatever that is. And Luke Cage sinks to the bottom, and he is going to drown. And that is the end of the episode. Because he can't move, y'all.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Yep, that's it. It's just that's the end of season 2 of Luke Cage. It's over. Luke Cage is dead. He drowned. The end.
It was a real short season, but they got to the point, man. They got to the point.
That's it.
To the end. That's it. Luke Cage gone.
No. We'll be back for episode 7. So we.
Or will we?
This ain't Aesop Fables, nigga. Say Rocky and Bullwinkle next time on Luke Cage. No, this is. Listen, that nigga coming back. Look, we'll see y'all at episode 7. They can't end it 6 episodes in. Shortest Netflix show ever. But yeah. All right, man. Good grief. This has been the Where's My 40 Acres podcast, season 2, Luke Cage recap. We'll holler at y'all next time. If you're on YouTube, let us know how you feel about the episode. Hit that like button, tell a friend, and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app or network, please go ahead and subscribe. Let us know what you think via email or voicemail. You can go to where'smy40acres.com to get that information. It should be attached to this episode as well. And we will holler at the rest of y'all next time. Hope y'all are enjoying this season. We be back for episode 7. Peace. Yeah, we definitely had to break this up. There's no way in fucking hell we would have finished all of this.
Oh no, I couldn't have made it because I got to be to work at like 5 o'clock today.